Hello, and welcome back to our little, not quite literature podcast, simpLITfy. This is our second episode. We have decided that we are not going to do the bi-weekly thing because, as I said, something always gets in the way. Life is just how it is. So, we decided we're going to do this monthly. So, since this is October, when we're uploading this, we decided we're going to read something super spooky. What are we reading, Hayley?
Macbeth.
Oh, man, we're reading Macbeth!
Or should I say, the Scottish play.
The Scottish tragedy.
We're not supposed to say the name.
Well, we're not in the theater.
I mean, true. But it says it right there, so.
Yeah, well.
For those who don't know, in the theater world, if you are on stage before an opening night, you are not supposed to say the name of the Scottish play.
Yeah, you're actually not supposed to say it at all if you're in a theater vicinity. But we're in an academic building, so I think it's pretty good that it's fine that we say Macbeth. We're good.
We're gonna have to say it a couple times, so.
Yeah, I mean, we are reading the play. Or not the play, but the story. So yeah. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, what we do is we take simplified versions of adult stories, simplified for children, and re-adult them, I guess. We put them through our adult perspectives and make a lot of funny little not-so-appropriate jokes. So
this has been a warning.
Yes, this podcast is not for children. Really teen and up. So just be wary. Yeah. So without further ado, we'll read Macbeth.
Okay, I'm gonna start with this part.
Yeah.
Macbeth is one of Shakespeare's best-known tragedies.
Romeo and Juliet, who?
Exactly. The play is set in Scotland and is also known by some performers as the Scottish play. They think it brings bad luck to say the play's title.
They think!
They think. But we're going to have to say it, so.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Macbeth.
There, you said it. It's out. It's out to the world.
So here we have some of the characters. We have Macbeth, or Thane, or Lord of Glamis. I just got that. Woo! Brave but ambitious. Easily persuaded into murder.
Yep, that's it. That's the whole plot.
That's his character and the plot.
Yeah.
Lady Macbeth, Macbeth's wife, ruthless, and even more ambitious than her husband.
Easily persuading people to murder.
Yep. Banquo, a brave general. Macduff, a Scottish nobleman. Ross, a Scottish nobleman.
Oh, is he disrespectful to women?
I guess.
I mean, yeah, but like
most people name Ross, you would,
yeah,
especially if you've seen Friends. Anyway, Duncan, King of Scotland, a good and kind though firm ruler.
Firm.
As we've said, this is an adult podcast. Prince Malcolm, Duncan's son, slow to act at first, but finally challenges Macbeth.
Wow, spoilers. God.
And then 3 witches, whose prophecies set Macbeth on his wicked path.
Oh, that reminds me of the recent time where I had a prophecy.
Okay, elaborate. Make it short, though.
Yeah, I had a thought in Norman Osborn's voice, and I am totally going to predict what's going to happen in the next episode of Spider-Man. Not the next arc.
You heard it here first, people. This is it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say what it is in case I'm wrong.
Jay's going to predict the future of MSM.
Yeah.
There we go. It's been out. All right. Chapter 1, Victory and Defeat.
Oh, man. It's starting!
It's going to be a super short chapter. In Dunsinane Castle, King Duncan of Scotland was waiting for news.
Of course it's Dunsinane. His name is Duncan. I knew Duncan in high school. He wasn't very nice.
Duncan, with a name like Duncan, I mean...
Duncan's a fuckboy name.
It is. It really is.
It's like, it's not just a fuckboy name, it's like an ugly fuckboy name.
We're sorry to anyone out there named Duncan. Who's listening to this right now?
I'm sure there are Duncans in the world that aren't
I'm sure
that
you're
bad.
very nice, but we just wanted you to know your name is a fuckboy name.
Yeah.
His soldiers were fighting a rebel army nearby. If they lost, he tried not to think about it.
I mean, it's war. People die.
It's true, it's true. The doors to the throne room crashed open, and Duncan's son staggered in, supporting a wounded warrior. Look at that blood! Ooh. You guys can't see the pictures, but there's some nice blood on that guy. And we were laughing about Romeo and Juliet not having a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Whew.
But that's because we also joked about how it was like an upper class, like, it's just a rich kid romance.
It's true.
So it's like they can't show the blood because, like, it's not proper.
Right.
It wouldn't fit in with their high society, all that blood.
No, it would not.
It'd run blue.
Father, Prince Malcolm panted, this man has just come from the battlefield. What news? Asked the king nervously. Victory, sire, the warrior gasped, thanks to your general, Macbeth. King Duncan sighed with relief.
And this guy's just, like, casually, like, bleeding out. It's like, yeah, well, at least we won. Like, thanks, Macbeth. It's not like anything bad's gonna happen with this dude later, right? He saved us all.
Find the man a doctor, he ordered, as Malcolm helped the warrior out of the room. Then Duncan called for his trusty advisor, Lord Ross.
Ross is also one of those names. It's like,
yeah, it is.
Lord Ross.
Lord Ross.
So...
It's as bad as Friar John. Just being...
yeah.
His buddy. Go to Macbeth, he said, and tell him I shall reward him for his bravery. Wink. I was right. Chapter 2. It's already chapter 2. This might be a quick book, people. Meanwhile, Macbeth and his friend Banquo were riding home from the battlefield. All at once, a mist sprang up, swirling around them, and the sky grew dark.
Who ripped this fat vape from Scotland?
Yep. Macbeth pulled up his horse with a yell of fright. Not a scream, a yell. All right. In front of them, 3 figures loomed out of the mist. They were old, ugly hags, all dressed in black cloaks.
They were... Okay, I'm not gonna make...
No.
I don't want to bring politics into it.
No.
But I'm not gonna...
Not recommending that for a nice family-centered project.
Yeah, family-centered. This is totally family-centered.
Who are you? Cried Macbeth. He tried to sound brave, but inside he was terrified. Wow, that's
big mood.
Hail Macbeth, Lord of Cawdor and future King of Scotland, the hags cackled. Wait, what do you mean? Demanded Banquo.
Wait. Hail Macbeth, Thanos of Glam.
Thanos of Glamos. But, demanded Banquo, who says Macbeth is the Lord of Cawdor? But the figures had vanished. Macbeth's eyes grew wide. Were they witches? Yeah, he whispered.
Oh, no.
No.
No,
it was the prophecy of Phoebus Apollo just coming down to you. Before Banquo could reply...
Where he was like, were they witches? No, that's so offensive, God. They're just 3-year-old ladies. Why are you just
proper term?
It's like...
elderly.
No, like... Oh my God, like, were they bitches? It's like, are these the bitches they keep telling me about?
Yes, they were bitches. Before Banquo could reply, a horseman rode out of the mist. It was Lord Ross. Stop appearing out of, like, thin air. Damn.
God, Lord Ross.
God, like, get your shit together. Macbeth, he called, I bring great news. King Duncan has made you Lord of Cawdor. Banquo was amazed. So they were right after all, he thought. He turned to look at his friend, but Macbeth was gazing into the distance, lost in thought.
Lost in thought!
He's just in. Macbeth is a thought! He respects women. Because he doesn't want to listen to his wife because he thinks she's not very nice and a little crazy. So he respects non-crazy women.
He respects. He listens to his wife eventually. So he's
spoilers. But anyway,
he respects women because he listens to his wife and the witches.
It's true.
I feel like this is like one of those like Menonists fantasies where it's like, God, look what happens when you respect women. People die. Like, just for future reference, if you respect women in real life, people do not in fact die. In fact, usually the opposite happens.
It's true. In the tallest tower of Inverness Castle, Lady Macbeth was reading a letter from her husband. Well, 3 witches said you'd be king, she murmured, but are you brave enough to make our dreams come true? As she pondered, the door opened and Macbeth came in. Whew! Talk about art imitates life. He threw his sword and helmet on the bed and hugged his wife. She stepped back and looked into his eyes. My husband, she said. If you were to be king of Scotland, only one man stands in your way, and that's Duncan. Macbeth shut his eyes. Ever since meeting the witches, he'd been haunted by thoughts of killing Duncan. He wanted to be king, just as they had promised, but the thought of murder filled him with dread.
As it should.
One would hope that it would fill him with dread.
It's like, I've been having thoughts of murder. This is great. Like, no.
That's Lady Macbeth's thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to murder.
I've been having fantasies about murder.
Someone's gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
No, he said, turning away. You cowards! Macbeth. This is your chance to be king. Everyone who knows you deserve it. What's more, Duncan is coming to visit this very night. Macbeth thought again. He couldn't do it. Could he? The thought of a glittering crown filled his heart with excitement and greed. Yes, all about the crown.
It's just the shiny jewelry he wants, not the political power or anything.
No, squirrel.
He just wants to be king for his resume.
So we can put it down later as a job. Chapter 4, Death in the Night. My gosh, this is going to be a really short book. We're going to have a lot of time to comment after this.
Yeah, Death in the Night as opposed to Death in the Morning.
Yeah. The great hall of Inverness Castle rang with music and laughter. At the end of the table, the king talked with Lady Macbeth. Meanwhile, Macbeth stood alone in the moonlit courtyard. His mind was made up. King Duncan would die. He just wished... Rip to King Duncan, but, I'm different.
Yeah.
He just wished that it was over and done with. That's me when trying to write anything. I mean,
yeah.
I want it written, but, like... I want to read it, but I have to actually do it.
Yeah, we're both writers too, so it's really funny. It's like you just like you look at the paper. It's like it's all in my brain. If only it was on the paper. Oh, I have to actually put my hands on the keyboard and write it. Nah, fuck that. Like nope.
Someone else, please write this.
Yeah.
Slowly, he walked to the great hall, praying that the hours would pass more quickly.
Me in any class ever. Just like, oh god.
Slowly walked to the bathroom. Whew, hope by the time I get back it's done.
Yeah.
At long last, Duncan and his lords went to bed, and the servants put out the torches. Silence filled the dark castle. Macbeth took a deep breath and wiped his brow. It was time. He's just panicking inside. He doesn't actually want to do it. Poor guy.
But his wife bitch slaps him and called him a pussy.
so
he has to.
He has to prove his manliness.
His wife triple dog dared him to murder his boss. Like
triple dog dare.
And he can't turn that down.
No.
Or even worse. Imagine if she had pinky promise and like pinky promise you'll kill the king. He's like, fuck no, I gotta. Can't break a pinky promise.
Canon.
Yeah.
Macbeth made a pinky promise to murder King Duncan. Can't break that.
Yeah, nope.
Nope. But as he approached the steps to Duncan's room, he stopped dead. Irony. Was his mind playing tricks? In the darkness, he could see a dagger dripping with blood.
Just kind of floating there.
Just floating.
Just chilling.
Nope, I'm not going to make a joke. All right. He shook his head. Nothing there. Clutching his own dagger, Macbeth climbed the steps.
But the fact he's not going to make a joke, he's like clutching his own dagger.
It's the wrong time to say I'm not going to make a joke.
Yeah, it's like, oh man.
Oh man. Can't make a float joke or a dick joke.
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
The next morning, the castle woke to a terrible howl from Duncan's room. Murder! Murder!
No, I thought he was just gonna turn into a werewolf. Damn. Okay, I quit. This is not fun anymore. I signed up for werewolves.
God damn,
I mean, they're witches. Why can't there be werewolves in Minecraft? This is it. I'm gonna write my own version of Macbeth where everyone is a werewolf.
Can I say what I thought you just said?
What?
There are witches. Why can't there be werewolves in Minecraft?
Oh my god!
There's not witches also in Minecraft? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, a new like update comes out of Minecraft. So you can have like dogs and cats and wolves and
so
foxes.
why can't you have werewolves and witches in Minecraft?
Yeah.
Too many kids at my school play Minecraft. I can't talk about it.
I wanted to do like game developing stuff too, and I like studied coding, and then I studied coding and realized like fuck this, it's so hard.
Mood.
I have dumb bitch disease. It's terminal.
So does Macbeth. They soon found King Duncan, dead.
Oops, rip.
Rip to him, but I'm different. I would stab Macbeth with his own knife. Who did this? Who did this? Thundered Macbeth. No one had an answer. Only Macbeth knew the truth, and he kept it to himself.
I'd like to hope so if he wants to be king and not executed.
It's like the meme from Parks and Rec. It's like, who broke this? And then everyone starts blaming each other. It's like, I broke it. I just didn't want to say anything. It was getting too chummy around here.
Yeah.
In silence, the lords stared at their dead king. Chapter 5, To Kill a Friend.
What is this, like, Billie Eilish shit? It's like, bury your friend, try and make up.
A week had passed. Macbeth sat alone in the great throne room at Dunsinane Castle, thinking. After Duncan's murder, Prince Malcolm had gone missing, and the lords had crowned Macbeth instead. He was king! Now he had everything he wanted. But he wasn't happy. I wonder why. He was thinking of Banquo. That's gay.
Yeah.
Macbeth and Banquo.
Macbeth is a bisexual icon. He's a bicon.
He's a bicon.
It's confirmed.
Banquo knew about the witches. What if he guessed who killed Duncan? Dun, dun, dun. There was only one solution. Banquo would have to die too.
It's like, I can't let Lady Macbeth know I've been sleeping with Banquo, so I guess he's gotta die.
Bury your gaze.
Yeah.
Shakespeare did that real well.
Yeah.
We saw that with Mercutio.
Yeah. Oof.
Bury your gaze. I see what you're doing, Shakespeare.
Bury your gaze. Try and wake up. I want to end me.
Listen closely, Macbeth told him. Tonight, I am holding a feast for all my lords. Find Banquo and make sure that he never arrives. Oh. The servant bowed and left. Alone again, Macbeth thought of his best friend Banquo, who would soon be dead. A sick feeling swept over him, made up of fear, sadness, and terrible, terrible guilt. His life was turning into a nightmare.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because he killed all these people.
This house is a fucking nightmare!
Get on top of the fridge.
Get up there. That night, 2 horsemen trotted through the gloomy forest on their way to the feast. It was Banquo and his son Fleance. Fleance looks so tiny in this picture. He's a bean.
He's a baby.
Fleance shivered and pulled his cloak tighter around his shoulders. He's a bean. Looks like rain, grumbled Banquo. Let it pour, said a voice from the bushes.
Fucking ominous.
Before Banquo could react, he was on the ground with someone's knee on his chest. Men stood all around, their daggers gleaming.
That's kinky.
Are you trying to tell me something?
I mean,
do you have a sword kink?
I mean, I'm a lesbian.
Fair enough.
I don't have a sword kink.
Their daggers gleaming in the dark.
Okay, so explaining from earlier, you were gonna make a float joke, because you're a fucking clown. But I forgot about our little spray bottle where every time Hayley makes a joke about it, I spray with a spray bottle. I didn't know that was a joke she was gonna make. I thought she was gonna make like a dick joke. And then he literally said clutching his own dagger. I'm like, I see where this is going.
It's a dick joke.
So it's like, yeah, all these men standing around, their daggers gleaming, and Banquo the gay is like in the middle of it all.
Well, all right then. Now I have to get a spray bottle.
Yeah.
I guess I have to get the spray bottle. And you can use it on me too every time I make a joke about that fucking clown. Never mind. Anyway, whew, go see It Chapter 2. All right. Go, Banquo.
It Chapter 2 did not sponsor this podcast. Kind of wish it did, honestly. I wish, it's Spooky Month and, we need money.
And I hear, Bill Hader has a lot of money, so
yeah.
Please sponsor us, Bill Hader.
Please.
Please, we're poor.
Help out your fellow gays.
Go, Banquo howled at Fleance. The terrified boy turned his horse and sped off as fast as he could. Banquo reached for his sword, but it was too far away. There was nothing he could do. He closed his eyes. As the daggers came closer.
Oh, God. Bury your gaze.
At least they didn't bury the BB. Yet.
Oh.
Spoilers. Chapter 6, The Haunting. Macbeth's feast was nearly over when something terrible happened. He looked around at the happy guests and smiled. Then he froze. There at the end of the table stood Banquo. Macbeth stumbled to his feet and cried out in fear. At once, everyone stopped talking. What's wrong, my dearest? Asked Lady Macbeth. You should be dead, croaked Macbeth, pointing at Banquo. The lords couldn't see Banquo, just an empty place. Banquo's face was deathly white, and his clothes were stained with blood. He glared at Macbeth, saying nothing. Yeah, because he's a ghost. A ghost!
Ghost! Ghost! Period, question mark.
Stammered Macbeth. It wasn't me! I didn't kill you! But the ghost had gone. Murmurs ran around the table. Yeah.
No,
they're wondering if Macbeth is okay. Now everyone knows you're a bicon, because you're yelling at your dead boyfriend.
Yeah.
Get out, shouted Macbeth. All of you, leave me alone.
I want to be edgy and alone.
I want to be emo.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. Got nowhere to run. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what the story is. The puzzled lords stood and hurried out, casting worried glances at their king. In minutes, only Macbeth and his wife were left. He turned to her and saw her eyes were filling with tears. Can we ever forget what we've done? She wept. Macbeth took her hand and tried to comfort her, but she wouldn't look at him. Macbeth... murder! Murder was driving them apart. Macbeth was...
Or maybe it was Banquo. We've been over this. Banquo had to die because he was boning Macbeth and he didn't want his wife to know.
He wanted to know. Chapter 7, the three prophecies. The wind howled across the moor and rain fell in thick sheets. I need to speak to you, witches, called Macbeth. Where are you? At once they appeared. What's to be
good service?
What's to become of me? Macbeth demanded.
You're gonna die.
Fear Macduff, the Lord of Fife, cried one.
Fife.
Yes, fine. Fear nothing, said the second, until the Burnham Wood comes to Dunsinane Castle. Macbeth sighed with relief. That can never happen, he smiled. I'm safe. Yeah, because an entire forest can't walk towards me.
Yeah.
Fear no man, said the third witch, that was born of a woman. Then I really have nothing to fear, said Macbeth, laughing. Every man was born of a woman, even Macduff.
Is this... Wait.
I was going to say, first I was thinking, trans rights.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think there's a trans character in here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe...
Canonically, but...
No, maybe Macduff has a trans dad, that's why.
Maybe. I like that. We should write that.
Yeah.
Write our own version.
Where there are werewolves.
And trans people.
And trans people. And big quotes boning Macbeth.
LGBT version.
Yeah, LGBT rep.
It's important.
It's important that the rep comes from LGBT writers, so that's why we're doing this. We're writing the gay Macbeth.
Yes. The witches gave no reply. They faded into the rain and were gone. My lord? Macbeth turned to see a messenger waiting patiently with his horse. Yes? He asked. Lord Macduff has found Prince Malcolm in England. He hopes to bring him back and make him king, said the messenger. Macbeth went pale. So be it, he raged. Macduff will pay for his treachery. Order my men to enter his castle and kill his wife and children.
Oof.
Now Macbeth's just like murder all the time.
Yeah, he's trigger happy.
Just gonna murder everybody.
But like with daggers, wink.
Specifically with daggers. Chapter 8. The Tide Turns. In England, Prince Malcolm sat with Lord Macduff beside a stream. Also gay. It was a beautiful day. The birds flew overhead, and the sun shone. It's time for you to come back to Scotland, said Macduff gravely. You should be king. It was Macbeth who killed your father, I'm sure of it. Malcolm said nothing. He was deep in thought.
Deep in thought.
Then his face broke into a smile. He had spotted Lord Ross approaching across the meadow. And he leaped up to greet him. Lord Ross, my father's friend, he cried.
Who the fuck? Like, Macduff's like, the fuck? I'm not your dad's friend. What the fuck?
Excuse me, bitch. But Ross didn't seem happy to see them. Lord Macduff, I have something dreadful to tell you. The tyrant, Macbeth, has killed your wife and children. Oof, that's not something you want to tell somebody.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm sure Macbeth killed your dad. Hey, by the way, dude, Macbeth killed your wife and children. Okay, now I know it!
Proof!
Proof's in the pudding.
It is. Macbeth, too many Macs in this story.
Mac-Hillary Duff.
Trans rights! Macduff's face twisted with grief and fury. And then he spoke, his voice calm and cold. Now you see why you must return, he said. Very well, said Malcolm. Macbeth must be stopped. Tomorrow we might march to Dunsinane. All right. Let me just make a comment. I know we were joking around the last time we recorded saying that we would be reading. Oh no, we didn't say that because that's Hamlet. Never mind. You know what? Forget that. I was going to say Lion King. But now that doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'm tired. Chapter 9. Because the reason why I was saying that was because the way that it came about, like
king
somebody
returning.
Killed. Yeah, a king returns because someone else tried to take over.
So, in a sense, even though we didn't actually read Hamlet this time, we did read a non-furry Lion King-esque thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they kind of sample from, like, everything in Shakespeare for the Lion King, I feel like.
They do, because Romeo and Juliet
for the second one. And one half would be Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yep. So they in Shakespeare, it could definitely have more than one.
Yeah.
I mean, Scar didn't really need to be persuaded into murder.
It was kind of... He's kind of already, like, yeah. agenda.
But in the second one, the mom did persuade Kovu. He didn't actually murder anyone, but she was like, "Hey, you should murder." Yeah. So I mean,
hey, you child, murder.
Child, you need to murder. Chapter 9: Macbeth's Last Stand. When news spread that Malcolm was on his way, the lords of Scotland flocked to join him. By now, everyone guessed that it was Macbeth who had killed Duncan.
Well,
I mean,
if you put together literally all the context clues and the fact that he killed everyone else that got in his way, I mean, you put 2 and 2 together. I mean, they're doing better than like most people in Spider-Man who are like, yeah, it's like like Peter's gone and Spider-Man shows up. They couldn't be the same person, right? It's like,
there's no way.
They look at Peter Parker like, this fucking twink couldn't be Spider-Man.
I do love the fact that, like, no one knows. It's just so funny to me.
Yeah, it's, like, not even, like, Harry or, like, anyone.
No, it's literally like, nah, that twink can't be Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that's literally, like...
He's not twinky enough.
Yeah, it's, like, it's one of those things, like, I remember we had a whole discussion in a Discord server one time where it's, like, someone was like, is Peter Parker a twink? Discuss. And I'm like... Yes. Yeah.
There's no discussion.
But then it's like, wait, it's like, but like when he gets like older, he's like a twunk. Because he gains muscle from being Spider-Man. But it's like, so I'm like, okay, and when like it's weird because like in most incarnations he's like a teenager, so it's kind of weird calling him twink. So,
we're not actually thinking that way about that kid Peter.
Yeah, but it's like he definitely had like a twink phase in college though, and then he became a twunk. So I phrased it exactly like this: he went from teen to twink to twunk. It's like Pokemon. He's in his final evolution now.
Oh my goodness! Spider-Man should also sponsor this podcast.
Yes, please.
Because I'm poor.
Yeah.
Marvel, please.
Oh yeah. Honestly,
now that you've agreed with Disney to fucking keep him in the MCU. For one movie and a couple specials.
You could. It's like people always like, yeah, Disney Plus. How they own the whole entertainment industry and they still need their own streaming service. Well, somehow instead of streaming like all the Disney shows, you're streaming us for free. Which, I mean, it would help to get the sponsorship, but this is a free podcast. Whether or not you made the correct decision is up to you. But
Disney, you need to rethink your life choices.
Yeah, maybe not monopolize the entire entertainment industry. Please.
That would be the first choice that was the first mistake. Anyway, at Burnham Wood, Malcolm halted his army. Cut branches from the trees, he ordered. We'll hide behind them when we attack Dunsinane Castle. As the army advanced, hidden behind their shield of leaves, it seemed as if the great forest itself was moving. Like something straight out of Lord of the Rings.
I love it. They're like, yeah, great disguise. Let's be trees.
Again, Marvel. I am Groot.
Yeah, or I feel like it's a lot like it's because it's Shakespeare. It's a play, so it's like no one ever notices the people who played like tree number 4 in the back.
So now we're gonna give them names.
Yeah, no. It's so since no one ever like notices the actors who play the tree. Like that's like the stereotype. They said, okay, we got a disguise on stage. Let's be trees.
Yes. From the battlements, Macbeth watched in panic. Just as the witches had promised, Burnham Wood was coming to Dunsinane.
Burnham Wood sounds like a name.
Mm-hmm. A moment later, a horrible scream came from inside the castle. A servant rushed out, his hands covered in blood. My lord, he stammered. It's your wife. She's killed herself.
Oh.
Well, one person he can't murder. Macbeth went white. He understood at once. Guilt had driven his wife to this. He felt lonely, numb, and numb with fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one person in your life that was, like, supportive of your murder rampage. In fact, encouraged your murder rampage.
She kind of manipulated him into
murder. The source of your murder rampage is now gone. What are you to do?
You're to stop murdering now. Go to therapy. Go get help.
Yeah.
Stop. Get help.
Stop. Get some help.
But there was no time to grieve. Bring me my sword, he roared. I don't care. Wow. Did you just not rhyme that way? Bring me my sword, he roared. I don't care if Burnham Wood has come to Dunsinane. No man can kill me. I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.
Both of you to assume I can die.
Open the gates. The battle was fierce, but within minutes, Malcolm's soldiers had taken the castle. Wow. Oof. Everywhere men lay dying. Macduff crept down the corridor hunting for Macbeth. He heard a noise behind him, spun, and saw Macbeth, his eyes blazing. You can't kill me, sneered Macbeth. No one born of a woman can hurt me. Then prepare to die, you murderer, said Macduff grimly. For I was never born. I was cut from my mother's dead body.
I was never born. I spawned.
Quite literally. Macbeth threw his head back and laughed. So the witches tricked me, he snarled. No, you just...
You're just a dumbass. You're just a dumbass that doesn't know about C-sections.
Context clues. He snarled. Very well, at least I'll die fighting. Then he ran at Macduff. The two men fought like demons. Their swords flashed through the air, clashed against each other.
Rip.
Rip to me, but rip to the swords, but I'm different. Then all at once, Macbeth slipped. He reached out to steady himself, but it was too late. Macduff's sword was raised, ready to strike.
I mean, look at that imagery.
That is some nice imagery, man.
Yeah, and so we get a great shot of Macbeth lifting his ass in the air.
It's an ass shot.
Yeah, it's a nice ass shot.
As opposed to not to be mistaken by an ascot. In a moment, the blade came slicing down, and it was all over. Hail, Malcolm, King of Scotland, Macduff panted. Macbeth lay dead on the ground where his greed for power had brought him. His bloody deeds had led to the bloodiest of ends.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Oh, the end.
Woo! No.
Part 2. Is it running? Oh, actually,
yeah,
it's still running.
Okay.
All right. So that is, we are done. We're going to bookmark this because next is going to be Hamlet anyway.
Yes. The non-furry Hamlet.
Yes. The human Hamlet. So please,
trying to move the mic too much.
Oh, yeah. So please, no furries watch our...
No, we're not going to deny furries our wonderful podcasts. That's discrimination, Hayley. God.
True. And it's illegal in most states.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it's
illegal in all states, but whether or not...
it's legal in every state except for Michigan that you can fire someone for being too fat.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That's so dumb too.
And it's like so many people like, yeah, like fat phobia isn't a real thing. Like, you just gotta diet and exercise. Well, like the same people that like say like we should just diet and exercise and like not and like that it would solve all our problems are the same people that would like laugh at us for going to the gym or ordering a salad instead of like fried food like they expected us to.
Yeah. No, you're right. You are absolutely right. Those are the same kinds of people. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. So, Macbeth.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. Don't want to say there's not a lot to say about Macbeth. There is. But it's like it's just a murder fantasy.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's just murder. Like,
I mean, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
In terms of like. Can we say whether or not Lady Macbeth was actually manipulative or was she distraught? You know, was like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel
also,
like
did Leon's actually ever die?
Yeah, we never
find out.
At least by this.
At least in this version.
Yeah, I think this version actually. I mean,
it cut out a lot of stuff.
It cut out a lot of stuff, which is it's for children. So, but like they cut cut out a lot of...
remember the murder of Macduff's family.
Yeah.
Being like a pivotal point in the plot.
I mean, it is, but, like, they kind of glossed over it.
Because for
kids. But, like, it's one of those things, I feel like the most iconic scene in this play is when Lady Macbeth has her breakdown. The whole big monologue. And they're just like, yeah, she just killed herself.
She offed herself.
Yeah, she just... Whoop.
It was too much for her.
Yeah.
The panic overcame her.
Too much to handle. It got too hot to handle.
Too hot to handle. She found out her husband was a bicon.
Yeah.
Off herself.
Yeah. This just in. Lady Macbeth is biphobic.
Straights have no rights.
No, don't say that.
That's true. No,
I was afraid to say, shut up, Hetty, but, like... I find myself, as a gay, saying Hetty a little too much. Like I said it once, and then it's like... It's like you know, when you do something...
Also, it's true, we don't know Macbeth. Like, Lady Macbeth isn't straight. We don't know.
Yeah. But it's one of those things, like, you find... It's like when you put off saying something for so long, and then you say it once...
And then you're like, ew.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, but it's either like, ew, I'm never saying that again, or it's, okay, this is open like Pandora's box, and now I'm gonna start saying it all the time.
I've had both happen.
Yeah. But,
that's why I say mood too much.
Yeah, but that's not like a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it's something I say too much.
Yeah, I feel that.
Also, I feel that is a bad thing.
Yeah. Another one I've started saying a lot recently is...
How?
Is it be like that sometimes?
Yep. I've said that.
I said that to someone today.
It'd be like that.
Like a stranger. Like I remember someone was like a kid had to pass me on his bike, and his like grandmother or something was walking behind him, and she's like, yeah, he's struggling because he has to go slow so I can, like, walk with him. And I said, yeah, that's how it'd be. And then walked away. And that's that today was that pivotal moment when I realized, like, I'm saying this a lot.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
I hear stuff at school all the time. That are just
like what?
Like memes.
Yeah.
Like, especially from the older kids, they're always making meme jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, I already say that.
Yeah.
Don't put it in my head.
Hayley knows how to floss.
I do know how to floss. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Know how to floss. I'm too old to know how to floss, but I work with 2nd and 3rd graders, so they taught me how to floss.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous, honestly. Like, I think, like...
I also know how to do Orange Justice, but not as well as the kids do.
Yeah. I don't think, like, it's one of those things, like, kids were, like raised into Fortnite dances, so they
kids
know
are
them.
Chaotic.
Yeah, they are.
Can we just talk about that for a second?
Children have chaotic energy.
They do.
Because they're just the same as adults, except they don't have filter yet.
Exactly. And when they don't have a filter...
Chaos.
They literally, I've been told by many a 10-year-old that I'm cute. Which is okay when it's told to me by another 20-year-old. Or another 24-year-old, preferably.
Yeah.
But not so great when it's a 9-year-old that's like saying, "Oh, you're cute."
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like
thanks.
I feel like it's like it works better the other way around, but not quite. Where it's like you're cute because you're like a kid and you're cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, and then the kids are like, "You're cute." Like, oh god, no.
Oh god.
It's like, you're cute. No, actually, I'm too old for you.
And you're a minor.
You're like, Juliet! A minor!
Most of the kids I work with aren't even 13 yet. I'm like,
oh, God.
No!
Yeah.
So, anyway, I do know how to floss. I also can go, because I'm so skinny, I can go in and out of tunnels on the playground. So I have kids that ask me to play with them all the time.
Aww. Yeah,
I go down the slides, because I can still fit, although I can't fit in some of the tube ones.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, it all ties back to the fat shaming too. Like, I couldn't do that, but I'm also like obese.
You could have if the tunnels were,
I could go down the
but
slides.
These are all like really little. Yeah, you could go down the slides.
I feel like I'd injure myself though.
I injure myself all the time doing.
That's true.
It's not
I injure myself like in daily life. Like I gave my friend a high five recently, and like I had my elbow locked a little bit, and then this morning I woke up and I like couldn't feel like half my arm. I'm like, here we go again.
I've had that happen with the kids where they give high fives and they go, ugh! And it's like, ouch!
Yeah, it's like so much power.
Where do you get all this power? You're like condensed.
Yeah, they're like a
strong things come in small packages.
Yeah, I guess.
Apparently.
That's why I hold so much anger and knowledge of Spider-Man. It's like all condensed into one thing.
Exactly.
It's one of those things like I think that's why like I like hyper focus on things. It's like it's not the autism, it's the fact that I'm just so small. I can only fit so much knowledge of things and love for things before I like
one thing usually, right?
Yeah. And
the forefront.
It's Spider-Man.
I have changed many a fandom.
Yeah.
Doing that.
We've really derailed from Macbeth.
There's really not much to say about Macbeth, man. I mean, it's a sad play. It's a good spoopy play.
Yeah.
It's a good spoopy play.
Flock Theater is putting on Halloween.
Yes, if you live in New London, Connecticut.
Yeah, like Eastern Connecticut.
Eastern Connecticut.
Yeah.
And you listen to this podcast, you should go see it.
Yeah.
We were offered audition parts.
Yeah, we were offered. I did audition, but then I'm like, oh wait, I have no time. So yeah. I turned down the role.
I can't feasibly do it with my class on the weekends. And
and my like 5 classes and
because we're college students again, and it's too much. Yep, daily job.
Day jobs.
Just too much.
Yeah. And we still want to have time to like do this and be social.
And be social and hang out. But yeah, go see Macbeth at Flock Theater.
Yeah, it'll be in the Mitchell College Red Barn, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's probably where most likely.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So if you're in the area, please come.
If you're not in the area and are just really, really passionate about Macbeth,
please come. Anyway,
yeah, please come. It's
great.
Flock is great.
Every year they do a really nice job.
Yeah. And if you happen to not be in the area this year, it happens every year.
It's an annual.
Yeah, so it's first showing is at Halloween.
Ooh.
At like 9 in the morning. And then I think
that's not good because that's a weekday.
Yeah, no, it's that weekend. So it's Halloween and then every day on.
Got it.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say because I can't come to the one that's on Halloween at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a school performance at 9 in the morning.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and then it's the rest are in the evening. And then it's I think it's the 23rd, the 31st until the 4th of November. So.
Well, we will be gone.
Yeah, we'll be at Comic-Con. Yeah, so it's a good thing I didn't do Macbeth because I was like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
because then you would have not been able to do it.
Yeah. I was just thinking, it's like, I cannot do a show on Halloween. I take Halloween far too seriously.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So.
I'm not going to talk about my Halloween costume because you're going to spray me with a spray bottle.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple ideas. I need to get myself in order. You know what? Macbeth would actually be kind of a cool costume to do for Halloween.
But no one would know. It'll be like it'll be like all the times I did Harry Osborn. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm a minor character.
You could do it with if you have a fishing pole. And then put a dagger on it.
Put some blood on it.
And then carry it around.
Yeah.
And wear your, sentry clothes or whatever.
The crown.
Just wear the crown. Just wear the crown and a cape. And just regular clothes.
Or just wear like a crown, like get the fishing pole with the
dagger on it.
The dagger and like a cape, and then just put like Like you can wear like a T-shirt and just put like a piece of paper that says Macbeth on it. I remember.
I like that.
I remember one year my friend was student debt for Halloween. He just wore his like normal hoodie, and then he just had a piece of paper on him and it said student debt. And we went trick or treating, and he was student debt, and he was like, "Yeah, that's the scariest costume here."
I love it. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I have a shirt that says "This is my costume."
I hate those. It's such a cop out.
It is.
That's like, at least with like student debt, like that's a cop out. That's like a creative cop out. It's like it's still cool.
I mean, it looks like a Halloween shirt. It's orange and it's got cats and bats and other things, but it's still a cop out.
Yeah, I loved Halloween growing up because I didn't know cosplay was a thing. And
so one day a year.
It was like the one day a year I could dress up, and I'd take it super seriously. I like have my like Halloween costume planned in July. Like as soon as Michael's was ready for Halloween, I was ready for Halloween. I was like, yes. I have all these plans to be like my favorite character at the time. I remember in 2010 Halloween, I was Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
I love it. Because I want to see that costume.
I don't think we have any pictures because my parents were like, "Yeah," about the whole thing.
Oh.
But I made the shield and the sword myself.
No, I really want to see pictures. Oh, I'm so mad that your parents are like that.
I'll call them. I'll see if they have any pictures. But
that'd be so cool. I want to do something from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
But it's like.
It's so complicated.
It is complicated. Like, you wouldn't think it is.
Yeah, I tried to do Astrid, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. I don't know, my hair's not long enough to naturally do Astrid.
Yeah.
I don't feel like getting a wig.
I feel like if I feel like my hair, I could do Hiccup.
You could do Hiccup.
Because he's kind of gingery.
Yeah.
He's a ginger in the book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's totally a ginger in the book.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
I need to reread it.
I couldn't get into the book because I like the movie too much, and they're so different.
They are really different. I read the book first. I knew about the movie. I was excited, but I wanted to read the book before I saw it. So
you were that person.
I'm always that person.
Yeah, you are always that person.
I saw the first. Well, actually, I reversed it for it because I read the book after I saw the movie. But for the most part, I am that person.
Yeah, you read Simon and the Homo Sapien Agenda before you saw Simon.
The day before.
Yeah.
And then I got mad because the movie was so different.
Yeah.
It was a good movie though, but it definitely took out a lot of things. I was like, where's all the gay comments? I mean, there's plenty of them in there, but like.
Yeah. And didn't you have like an older sister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's other books now in that series that are really good.
Oh man.
And they're all related, which is really cool.
If only I could read.
Audiobooks are a thing.
I do wanna read that one. What was the one we were talking about most?
What If It's Us?
No.
Which one was it?
Going Off Script.
Oh yes. I need to read that one.
Yeah.
I have so many books I'm reading right now that I like.
Yeah.
I read A Raven Cycle in a week.
Like the whole series.
Yeah, and now I don't read.
Yeah, your brain is just so tired.
I used all my reading energy on the Raven Cycle, and yet I have 2 books that I've already started, and I haven't finished either of them. I mean, I'm reading this, so I'm reading something. But
yeah, but
these are short. Macbeth was really short. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, we got through it in like 43, 45 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, the other one, Romeo and Juliet, we didn't have enough time to discuss it because it took us like an hour.
Yeah.
To read, so it was like
so
a
we
whole.
We should probably build in a little bit of discussion about that too.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it.
Yeah. It is such a rich kid romance. That's why I titled the upload. I'm gonna do a little comment on each one.
It is a rich kid romance.
It's the part that
this
really
one's
got.
Title should just be Murder.
Yeah. Or Meninist Murder Fantasy. This is what you get. This is what you get for respecting women.
I love that. Although I don't know how many people are gonna click on that, but hey.
Yeah, but I feel like this is gonna be like this SJW podcast.
But it's really just about Macbeth.
Yeah, it's just
But yes, Romeo and Juliet is a super rich kid, rich fuckboy romance. Like, can you be honest here? Like,
like it's like hey,
minors.
I can't give you these drugs. They're illegal. Oh, but what if I give you like $40? Okay.
Okay.
Here's a small maybe. Maybe if he had forked over a little bit more money, Juliet would have had enough to kill herself too.
Yeah, it's true.
But unfortunately, Romeo is a cheapskate. But as all rich white fuckboys are.
I want to know, is there a retelling of... Whoop, that's my iPod. No. We had to look up about Leonardo DiCaprio's Oscars today, so that's why it's the first thing on my... Speaking of Romeo and Juliet, please don't watch that version. It's a fucking terrible movie.
Yeah. I think we mentioned it in the last one.
I think we did. Don't watch it. It's dead. It's so bad. Watch the 1960s one. It's better.
Yeah. I remember seeing so many adaptations of Romeo and Juliet because there's
a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember any of them, but I do remember that the Leo DiCaprio one was so bad. I'm like, that's why I don't remember.
They spoke in regular, like, Shakespearean and had guns.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused about
with Romeo, with the power of love and this gun I just found.
Tagline: Romeo plus Juliet. The movie's not even named Romeo plus Juliet. Like, what is
so edgy? It's like, what is this? It's like a 2008 A&B? Like, yeah.
Actually, it is.
Oh God.
I mean, the anime is good though. I watched the anime for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
Mm-hmm.
And Mercutio's pretty gay for both Romeo and Benvolio.
I mean,
Benvolio's a tiny bean.
Oh, I love it.
And he's so cute. I was gonna see if Mercutio and Benvolio
gay
version. We'll see if we can find something. Is Mercutio gay? Yes.
It's like an analogy.
Shakespeare.
I love
it.
Shakespeare.
Wait.
Yale Daily News.
Wait.
Yale.
Oh, look at the boy. He's so cute.
Baby.
Look at them. They're the most important characters in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. We really do need like a Rose and Crescent Guildenstern are dead, but like for Benvolio, Mercutio.
An original play by Lulu Klebanov. Wait, go back. Go back. Oh my God, it's a Tybalt Mercutio play.
Oh God.
Wait. We have to read about this.
I mean, is it them in the afterlife?
Hold on. Reveals a hypothetical gay romance that occurs off stage of Romeo and Juliet. As the audience, we explore love, tragedy, and queerness in a traditional Shakespeare setting. The play defies heteronormative expectations, because that's all that original play is, in a wonderfully experimental way.
Are we gonna
cool.
Promote this gay Shakespeare? This is
Shakespeare? This is not Shakespeare? No, but we should talk about that because there's a lot of super obviously if we're reaching, which we're gays, we need the content. We do reach a little bit. If we think about it, there are a lot of characters in Shakespeare plays that are not straight.
Yeah.
And that people talk about a lot, but that you don't, like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Oh, yeah.
And what was another one? Well, obviously, them.
Okay.
I don't know if Tybalt.
No, Tybalt, Benvolio, and Mercutio in a poly relationship. Valid.
I'm gonna write that. It's gonna be the next fanfiction I write. But I do think that there's plenty of characters. I mean, everyone in that play was crushing on Romeo.
Oh yeah.
We absolutely.
Yeah.
Other than Benvolio, because Benvolio's his cousin. That would be weird.
Like maybe the reason Tybalt is so angry is because he can't deal with his gay feelings. He
Turn him off like light switch. But see that no, I think it's true. I think there's something to be said about books like that because, like, back then it wasn't necessarily frowned upon. It just wasn't talked about.
Yeah, and now when we're looking back on these things, a lot of people. One thing I found. Being, someone who's queer, like, I look at things through that lens. I can see when I see a character that's queer coded and be like, yeah, they're gay. But there's so many people, people who aren't queer, that are like, well, what do you mean? Because they just don't, it's not talked about enough, so it's not something they think about. They're like, they acknowledge that gay people exist, but they don't see that because it's not a part of their world.
Right. Or it's like, oh, no, they're too manly for that. Or, oh, no, they're too No, that's them compensating. That's them trying to, especially in a world where maybe that's not something that gets any kind of attention. That's a way for them to say, I'm here. I'm here, I'm queer, and I need to be seen.
Yeah. And, like, it's one of those things. Another thing that I find in terms of, like, representation, and when I discuss representation with people who aren't queer, is that when a lot of characters that, are typically viewed as maybe bi or pan, that have only been in relationships with the opposite gender, but have been coded to, like, have, like, really close relationships with people of this other characters of the same gender, and, like, that could be easily interpreted as being bi-coded or pan-coded, or maybe not. But it's one of those things people say, like, well, why would you even see them as gay how could they possibly be in a relationship with the same gender if they're always been portrayed as in a relationship with the opposite gender? I'm like, well, because, it's not like you have to pick one.
Right, you don't have to pick one. You don't have to do anything. I mean,
yeah.
You can know that you're not straight and still be in a relationship or not in a relationship with people of whatever gender that you're not,
Yeah, with the opposite gender. And it doesn't make you any less queer either.
No.
And that's another thing, I think that's something to discuss in the queer community as a whole, is that there's so much exclusionism that people don't understand that, like, you can be not straight and still be in a relationship with the opposite gender, or be in no relationships. That's the whole thing with, like, ace arrow exclusion. That's so dumb. Like, it's been from the beginning of the movement. We've been included. I'm ace.
I'm also ace.
So it's one of those things, like, we've been included as part of the movement, as part of the LGBT community, as part of the queer community since the beginning. And people, I think it dates back to about 2013. People started to say, hey, well, you don't feel sexual attraction or you don't feel romantic attraction, so you're automatically just straight. Like, no, that's not what.
And not to say, because there are lots of people that are straight that are also ace.
Yeah,
that's also something to think about.
Yeah, and it's one of those things but, like, they say those people particularly are not inherently LGBT when they are, because they're not,
or they're this or
that. Yeah, no, they're queer.
They're queer and they're here and they need to be heard and
exactly. Like the only people who, like, aren't queer are the people who are both cisgender, which means they're not trans, heterosexual, and heteroromantic.
Right.
You have to be all three to not be queer.
Everything else is queer game.
Yes. So yeah,
it's true. And there's a lot of characters. I mean, if we're thinking like trans, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna we will probably read this one, but the Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
I want to say it was somebody in that one is transcoded.
Yeah, we'll probably get to that one when we get to that, but yeah,
there are lots of characters in that are gay coded or transcoded.
Yeah.
So that, we'll talk more about that when we get there, but it's Shakespeare especially because Shakespeare is in a time where it's not unacceptable to have strong relationships with same-sex people. So they're written in there.
Yeah.
But you're hanging out with your buddies and you're drinking a little bit of wine and there's other things that might happen.
Yeah.
It's fine. On that same note, as famous things that are queer-coded, I'm very excited about the Emily Dickinson movie that's coming out because that story has never been told.
Yeah.
And that's definitely an example of a author who absolutely was not straight. And everyone else, history goes, oh no, she just was depressed and stayed in her room all the time and
I mean, you can be depressed and stay in your room all the time and still be a lesbian. I mean, look at me.
I mean, I don't stay in my room all the time, but I am depressed and I am a lesbian, so there you go.
So it's one of those things. It's like it's definitely a thing we need to look at as humans, as a species, like that we so often only look at things through one lens, and that's not good.
Nope.
It's definitely not helpful for the people, because I had to because you have to, when you're queer, you have to learn to look at things through that lens, because a lot of times you're told that there's only one lens to look at things through,
and it's not the lens that you're peeking out of.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. It's like, I remember before I realized I was gay, I was very. A lot of queer people have that problem where they go through a very compulsory heterosexuality, internalized homophobia phase, where they're trying to rule out any gay possibility because they're trying to deny that that's what they feel themselves. I went through that in middle school and early high school, and then I grew up, realized I was gay, and I've haven't looked back, and I haven't. And it's very freeing to realize that that's a possibility, but a lot of that came from, my parents were very traditional. They didn't want to talk about it. I only found out what gay was because I was using the word wrong, and they had to correct me. Yep. All my friends were using it as an insult, and I used it as an insult. I'm like, actually, it's not what it means. I'm like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice to know.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's like we need to look at explaining these things to kids, to teenagers, to give them that outlet. And that's another thing I think that I'm very proud of modern media for having, is there's just been a lot more gay and trans rep
thank goodness
in especially in children's television, like Steven Universe, and I heard a lot of good stuff about 12 Forever as well, and OKKO, right. And so many shows.
Andy Mack.
Yeah, so much stuff. It's just,
and it's so
there.
Important.
It's so important.
As someone who works with kids, hearing kids talk about any of that stuff, especially Steven Universe or Andy Mack, hearing them, they go, oh my gosh, they're so cute, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, yes, good. Because that means that they get it, that they're getting it, and they're understanding that it's okay. And, and then going to cons and seeing cosplays and all that kind of stuff. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
And, and tie back to, what I was just talking about, with my story, where it's if I had that kind of watched those kind of shows on TV, I would have realized a whole lot sooner, and I would have been able to accept myself a whole lot sooner. So it's one of those things. It's I'm so glad that kids today, for the most part, won't have to go through the same struggles. Oh, I totally forgot Arthur.
Arthur, that's right.
The Gay Rat Wedding.
They just did that the last couple months, right?
Yeah, over the summer.
Year.
Yeah. I think it's funny that Like, a lot of people, yeah, a lot of the people that I know that, like, because I grew up watching Arthur. It was, like, my favorite show in forever.
Yeah.
And, like, and that Mr. Ratburn has been a part of it since the beginning.
Yep.
I remember.
And they never talked about a wife.
And, yeah.
And now we know why.
Yeah. And
but I do think it's funny that the Tumblr meme was that...
the gay right wedding.
What was that, but also the fact that everybody... No one talked about the actual wedding. Everyone was like, Arthur's still on?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. That's what I was saying. Like, are they still running?
It still exists?
Yeah,
what?
But, like, I'm glad because Arthur's always been a great show to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it did not turn away from any kind of tough topics. I mean, it had a whole episode on anxiety.
Had a whole episode that happened after 9/11 to help kids deal with that. Because
what was another one? It was like, being locked in the library one was just for fear.
Yeah.
Being afraid of being left in the dark. Like any of that stuff. It's all really good stuff to have kids and especially like we grew up with it, so we understood. Mm-hmm. Like, it was part of our childhood, and now it's part of other kids' childhood, and it's really, really good to have that. And that's why even, like, this book, it's illustrated for kids, so it'll take stuff out. I mean, we know this going in. That's why a lot of these are short.
Yeah, that's why we were talking about how they cut out the most iconic part, which was, like, Macbeth's breakdown, but that's because that's something that's scary. And we can't scare the kids too much. Can't let them have their own psychotic fake breakdown. Yeah. Over murder. Just gotta say, but she killed herself. Which is scary in and of itself.
As it is.
But, I mean, it's the only way you can really stay true to the story without being explicit about everything that led up to it. And I feel like that's another thing in... we're already going longer than last time, but, like, it's one of those things, I think. Another thing that's important to talk about in media in general is how much we actually, like, talk about in almost a glorifying manner about suicide.
Suicide, murder, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think we should talk about suicide especially, though, because it's so triggering for some people.
Yeah, it's overdone.
It's also overdone.
Yeah. Like, I remember when like, going through all the shows that got on Netflix, that got, like, a new season, when it gets to 13 Reasons, it's like, why?
I see what you did there.
Yeah. But, like, it's one of those things, like, I read that book when I was younger, and it was... Even the book was... I read part of the book. Yeah, I don't think I finished it either, but it's one of those things... I didn't finish it because it was so... triggering, especially something to read, especially at that point in my life. It's sad. It gives you ideas. It makes you think it's okay to
to leave tapes behind. And to leave yourself, and then kill yourself. Yeah, and it's like I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like, so I think we are. Like over an hour now, so
yes, we should probably.
Yeah, and
wonderful note.
Well, no, we've derailed so much, but it's fine. We've had some pretty good discussions, even if it's not about Macbeth. But
it is about Macbeth. But
yeah,
and I think LGBT and it's all important stuff, and it's all stuff that's in here. It's just very heavily coded. Although I gotta say, Benvolio and Mercutio is not coded.
Yeah,
it's very
much there. It's canon.
It's pretty loud.
Yeah, but I feel like we can definitely touch on the.
So is Macbeth thinking about Banquo. That was pretty loud.
Yeah. But I think we'll talk a lot about mental health next week. Next month.
Next month, yeah.
Next month, because we'll be reading Hamlet, which is
another mental health story.
Yeah, to be or not to be. It's literally, he's debating whether or not he should kill himself. So,
let's, save that for next week.
Yeah, so we'll save that for next time. But I hope you enjoyed our little podcast. Remember to respect women. People don't actually die when you do that. And,
respect them.
Respect women and don't bury your gays.
Please don't bury your gays.
Please don't. We're so sick of it.
We would really like to be able to see the light.
Yeah. So with that, we will see you in November.
Bye.
Bye.